Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got done watching the season return of Gotham. This is season 2, episode 12. They're calling this season the Wrath of the Villains. So they rose in the last half of the season. This half, they have some wrath that they want to give out. So we start the episode with Jim Gordon being questioned by Harvey Dent and a bunch of other people about what happened, his whereabouts, was he involved with the death of Theo Gallivan? And of course, Gordon denies everything and he's lying. But it's interesting to see him flat out lying to his superiors and to the city in a sense, because last season's Jim Gordon never would have done this. Last season's Jim Gordon would have hated this season's Jim Gordon, or at least what he's become. He's almost become what he was fighting before, and that's interesting. It is, and it's just, I guess, with this show, my problem with this show, and I do have a lot of issues with this episode, with this show as a whole, and the direction that it's going. But let's talk a little bit about how we see a pregnant Leslie Tompkins. Yes, Marina Baccarin. I thought they were saying she was pregnant, and then I thought she left because, I don't know, maybe did go do Deadpool, or I don't know, maybe in real life she was pregnant. I didn't really know why they got rid of her like that, but they didn't get rid of her. She's back here. She's pregnant. Who knows? She's still with Gordon, so we'll see what happens with that. Now, Michael Chiklis, he catches the Penguin. The Penguin was on the run for a very short period of time, at least what we saw, because he was just the king of Gotham, and now he is captured. Now, I was a little disappointed that we didn't see how he got captured. We didn't see, like, what happened. Was there a shootout, a chase, a car chase, or something? Like, we didn't see it. What the fuck? So weird that Michael Chiklis just comes in. Oh yeah, by the way, I caught the Penguin guys. They're all clapping. He scolds the officers for clapping. It's like, I've done such a 180 on Michael Chiklis' character. I loved him when he first arrived, when he came into the department and wanted to clean everything up and arrested all the dirty cops or fired them. Now it's like, okay, you're a little too by the book, dude. You're a little too, let's all do the right thing, and you can't lie. You can't even breathe the wrong way, or I will fire you. It's like, dude, you're in Gotham. He should know by now. He's been in Gotham long enough at this point to know that this is bullshit. He's looking at Gordon like he can't trust him, but he decides to reluctantly trust Gordon because the Penguin corroborated the same story. Okay, fine. I'm sorry, Michael Chiklis. You're a good actor. I just don't give a fuck about your character. So Penguin, in his confession, is put into Arkham Asylum, which was interesting, but again, I already miss seeing the Penguin as the king of his gang and all of this stuff. It's like that we didn't get enough of that. He's already in Arkham. He starts to get made fun of, so he immediately tries to take charge and say, hey, I'm not one to be fucked with, basically. They all laugh at him because they're criminally insane. So yeah, that's not really going to fly here. And it's not long before we meet Hugo Strange. I will admit that it's pretty cool to get Arkham Asylum and see Hugo Strange, especially B.D. Wong, who's playing him. He is a splitting image of, well, a younger Hugo Strange. Like, he looks perfect. And I'm fascinated by these experiments that he's doing, or these shock therapy things, or whatever the fuck he's doing. It's pretty cool to get Hugo Strange. In anything, very first live action appearance. I'm curious to see just how far gone he is, because in the comics he's very far gone. And now here's where some of the problems come in. with this show, what the show is doing, is that as much as I think it's cool to have Hugo Strange, as much as I like the Penguin, for example, as much as I am mildly intrigued by Mr. Freeze being on the show, or at least the Victor Freeze character, or Victor Fries, as we're pronouncing it, I swear this show wants to piss off the fans even more by purposely mispronouncing his name. And then having the characters confirm that the mispronunciation is how you actually pronounce their names? Really? Nitpick. Minor qualm. I agree. But the whole deal with this show not having Batman, that's kind of the point of the show, is that it's a prequel, it's before Bruce Wayne, little Bruce Wayne, ever becomes Batman. I get it. Initially, I thought that was interesting. Initially, when I thought the show was going to be more about Gordon, crime drama, more of the street-level gang types, I was very interested in this show. But now that we see that either the ratings wasn't doing well or maybe fans were demanding more, now the writers feel pressure to give us more. And they are giving us more. And look, I can appreciate that the show is trying. They're trying to up their game. They're trying to give the fans what they want. But for me, I don't want a show that has Mr. Freeze, that has all of these villains, that has Hugo Strange without Batman. It really doesn't make any sense. Hugo Strange, for example, the whole thing that makes him interesting and fascinating is that he's a psychiatrist or a doctor who is completely obsessed with Batman. Here, let's take away the most interesting thing about him, because there is no fucking Batman. Or Victor Freeze. I'm going to call him Victor Freeze. I don't give a fuck. So, we get some of his backstory. Okay, we see that his wife Nora is very sick with what we know as McGregor syndrome. I don't think they named it here. Maybe it's something else. And I was a little upset that we didn't get more of them as a couple, more of their relationship, but she's already sick. Okay, fine. They didn't want to waste time, I guess. And she's coughing up blood, like she's really sick. So Victor is experimenting on humans without her knowing. In his basement, he's freezing people, and he's basically testing. He's trying to see if he can successfully freeze somebody and then unfreeze them and keep them alive, because he wants to freeze her so that he has enough time to get the cure for her disease. That's a story with Victor Freeze that I've known and loved since I was a kid. I grew up on that being his backstory. It wasn't always Victor Freeze's backstory. Originally, he was just a really goofy gimmick villain. But ever since Paul Dini gave him that backstory, that's my Mr. Freeze, in a sense. This Freeze, I don't really know if he's a doctor. He obviously has some experience in experimenting or chemicals, or he has some way to access these type of resources. I don't know. I get he could still be a doctor. I just don't love that he's already a villain. He's already going out there and freezing innocent people. Like, it makes more sense when his wife is already in dire need of help, and he too becomes frozen, so that takes away his conscience and any care for other people. He's cold as ice, physically. So the show is doing his character, but it's like they're not doing his character. They're half-assed doing the character, or they're doing the character enough without it really making sense for me. By the end of the episode, they're calling him Mr. Freeze. He's already fucking Mr. Freeze when Batman is still like 13 years old, 14 years old. I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. Maybe people are loving it. Maybe I'll see online right after I post this where people are like, "This is awesome, Mr. Freeze, yeah, cool." And that's okay. That if you guys love this, fine. But for me, I'm losing my interest. I'm losing my patience almost for the need to have a show like this. Why can't we just have a Batman TV show? Oh, because Ben Affleck's making his movie. I don't care. They had Smallville while they had Superman movies also. We can keep them separated. We can have a Batman Bruce Wayne that's not connected to that. And how much better would this show be if the show was Batman Year One, where you have Batman as a big presence for sure, but you could still have Gordon as the main character. You could still have all of the stuff with Gordon and his wife and him cheating on her with Sarah Essence. And just, you could do so much with Gordon as a main character while still having Batman there and while still having all of these cool villains. Like, that's a no-brainer for me. I'd much rather be watching this show. I know it sounds like I'm just rewriting the show, but it's just, there's some good stuff here. There's some really good acting here. There's some interesting stuff here. There's cool action. But when it comes down to the story, when it comes down to me caring, when it comes down to me really feeling compelled to want to keep watching, or it's like, why bother? I have so many other actual superhero TV shows like Arrow and Flash and Daredevil on Netflix. Like, that's actually doing the characters and the villains more justice, in my opinion. I know, this just turned into a rant. I didn't mean to do it, but it's happening. So, I didn't hate this episode. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with what this show could have been, what this show is doing, what they're doing to some of these characters. It bothers me. It does. Clearly. Anyways, guys, I'm obviously going to keep fucking watching because I'm an idiot. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of not only this episode, but the show's direction? Do you like it? Do you not care? Do you think I'm overreacting? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!